Hello everybody, it's me, Will, and welcome back to a new episode of Comeback Format. And today we're going to be talking about the newest film from Polaroid. And yes, it sounds weird to say the new film from Polaroid, but it is true. Just a couple of days ago, they came up with a new experimental type of instant film. It was just announced a few days ago, and I went ahead and ordered it right away, and I just got it in the mail today. So here it is, the reclaimed blue 600 film for your 600 type of vintage or classic cameras. And there's the back. I actually ended up getting 2 of the packs of 8 exposures each just to test them out and see how they go. And you can get them right now from directly from Polaroid in the Polaroid website for $17 each. And I'm sure in the future it will be available if it's successful in Amazon as well. But anyways, new experimental film from Polaroid. It looks really fun. They're claiming that it was invented by accident, which could very well be true because a lot of innovation comes from errors or from accident. And what they're saying is one of their technicians used the system from color film, from their instant film, using the developer from black and white photos, which normally doesn't work. But in this situation, by some kind of accident, it created this kind of like a unique style, kind of like a duochrome looking type of picture. I don't know if you can see it very well there in the back with blue, black, and white in the image. And technically, this is not duochrome. This right here is duochrome. This is a pack of film that Polaroid has been selling for a while. This is the duochrome with yellow and black type of film. And as you can see here in the sample picture in the back, this is essentially, or duochrome is technically a black and white photo with yellow or colored dye added to the developer. So you end up with a black and white picture, but with yellow in this case instead of white. This right here, the reclaimed blue experimental film, the new film from Polaroid, is a little bit different. You get white, you get black, and you get different shades of blue. So technically it's not duochrome. It's kind of like its own thing. I guess technically is a color picture, but with blue instead of all the different colors. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, I guess. I'll let you read all the details in the Polaroid website. I'll put the link in the description here. But yeah, it looks really interesting, especially because the picture technically doesn't have blue dye added to it, which is kind of interesting the way that things work in the film world. But anyways, in this video, I'm going to be testing it out. I'll take a few pictures with it, and I'll show you some of the results and what I think about it. And also Polaroid is asking the users what is the best application for this type of film. So I'll be trying to figure out what the best application is after I test it out. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. Alright, so first things first, and of course I had to take the mandatory picture of Hunter in the balcony for the first shot. Here's how that picture ended up. I thought it ended up really cool with the different types of, or the different shades of blue, kind of like in the midtones or in the shades. The picture ended up a little bit more underexposed as expected. Maybe I didn't have enough light. It was kind of late in the evening, so it does make sense that it ended up a little bit dark. What I also liked about this picture is on the top right that you can see the different shades of blue, kind of like in a smooth transition between the white or the bright blue into the darker blue or the black. The next day I took Hunter to our favorite spot by the river, and I took this first picture of him next to the water in the river, and I love this picture. I really like this one. This may be my favorite out of the whole batch. I love the contrast created by the bright whites in the background, or the light blues, I guess, with the darker blues and blacks from Hunter's ears and the tree next to him. Love the contrast, love the overall look, especially with the different shades of blue kind of in the between or the mid-tones. For the next one, I wanted to take a picture of Hunter in front of this picnic area, and here's how that picture turned out. Similar as the ones from before with the high contrast in the foreground, but the background definitely ended up a little bit underexposed. And this is usually the case, or this happens often when you shoot this type of 600 types of film. You really have to have lots of light to get the right exposure in the areas that are a little bit shaded or not covered by the flash. And since this is an experimental film, I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I took this kind of like a landscape picture of the river with the trees against the light or against the sun. And I ended up with this picture that I thought ended up really cool. It almost looks like an abstract painting with the very dark shadows, high contrast, with the light blues and whites created by the sky and the water from the river. I actually ended up liking this one quite a bit, and I can see the potential of using this type of film with kind of like a creative or abstract type of photography. And here's one more of Hunter by the river. I think he was starting to get tired at the end of the hike, but here's how the picture ended up. I really like this one as well, with the high contrast, and I also love the high saturation in the blues in this image. And one more thing that I noticed was the clear details that you can see in the trees in the background as well as in the water. And this last picture was more of an experiment just for myself, because I wanted to see how the color would work in this film, kind of like with the smooth transition between the white to the blue and to the black. So I took this picture late at night in my house. I just pointed the camera towards the staircase. All the lights were off, so the only light source in this picture is the light from the flash, the on-camera flash. So you can see there the transition, right, in the blues, from the white to the light blue to the blue to the dark blue and to the black. So you can see kind of like the different spectrums or the different shades of blue available in this film. All right, so those were some of the pictures that I got with my first batch of the Reclaimed Blue 600 film from Polaroid. And just in case you were wondering, all the pictures that I got and all the pictures that I show you in this video were taken with this camera. This is the 1/600 classic or vintage camera from Polaroid. I mainly picked this one because of the color, because of the baby blue color in the camera to go with the film. Great little camera, but also a fully automatic camera. So this is not one of the models that lets you adjust the exposure in the front of the camera. And it also doesn't let you bypass the flash. So as far as I know, all the pictures that I show you in this video were taken with the flash on, with a fully automatic camera. So yeah, you can use your 600 types of vintage cameras with this film, but you can also use the I-type cameras, which are the cameras that Polaroid still manufactures by now. And you can also use your Polaroid Labs. So according to the box, you can use the 3 types of cameras. But if you use it with the I-type, make sure that you read the instructions, because I think you have to select a different setting in your camera to use the 600 film. But you should still be able to use the 600 film with your I-type cameras. All right, so my review. My review, as you can tell, is very positive. I had lots of fun shooting with the Reclaimed Blue 600 film. As with the duochrome or with the black and white, it really gives you another tool in your pocket to get very creative with your photography or with your portraits, for example. Because I love the effect that the very highly saturated blue gets in the midtones of the images. Really love that effect. I love the vibe. It's just a great effect to get into your pictures. I really had a lot of fun shooting with the Reclaimed Blue 600 film. Just a piece of recommendation, as with any kind of 600 film from Polaroid, make sure that you shoot with lots of light, preferably outdoors and during the day. And also, if you're shooting portraits, my recommendation or my advice is to make sure that you have a bright background to get a little bit of a better contrast between your subject and the background. So that's my only recommendation. Besides that, have lots of fun shooting with this Reclaimed Blue. And I noticed that in the Polaroid website, they're essentially asking a lot of the fans or the users on the potential applications of this new type of experimental film. I can see 2 types of uses for this one. The first one is the obvious one, portraits. You can get some really cool effects with portraits with this film. As I showed you before, the pictures that I took of Hunter ended up really cool. So I can see portraits being a great option or a great use for this type of film, just to get creative with your portraits. And the second one, I think since this is a more of an experimental type of film, you can get lots of very abstract images with the pictures that you take, especially in something that is very high contrast with lots of shapes going on. I can see a lot of photographers getting very, very creative, or getting lots of very innovative images or abstract images with this Reclaimed Blue 600 film, which is something that a lot of the photographers are already doing with the duochrome or with the black and white film from Polaroid as well. So I definitely see this film as an extension of that application that the photographers are already doing. All right, so those are my final thoughts about the Reclaimed Blue 600 film from Polaroid. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would love to hear if you already bought one of these, or if you're planning to buy one, and what you plan to use it for. Are you planning to use it for portraits, for landscape, or for different kinds of applications? Would love to hear from you in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.